the stories of leadership can come in all shapes and sizes. Some leadership journeys begin with education, careful planning, mentorship, gradual preparation, all have been proven. Others begin with unimaginable tragedy. And that's where we start today, because our guest today's journey transformed personal tragedy into educational legacy after losing both parents in a UAE car accident when she was still very young and well before their time as well, taking over Dubai Scholars as a young, but let's we not forget, grieving leader when it was a small villa school, 100 students to look after them, but it was growing, as was Dubai, as was the region. Growing to Scholars International Group, which today serves over 4,000 students with new premium British curriculum campus on horizon. Pleasure to have in the C-suite with HSBC today, the CEO of Scholars International Group, Aparna Verma. Aparna, always lovely to see you.
Me too, Tom, me too.
Great to have you join us in our rather impressive C-suite today.
Much better than being in the studio, for sure.
An open-air studio
yes,
for
absolutely.
us today. Look, your leadership story, as I mentioned there, began in an unexpected and tragic way. It began through tragedy with that harrowing loss of both parents in a car accident here in the UAE. Again, I feel a bit guilty for asking you to take us back to that moment, because it was a moment of so much personal loss and so much personal tragedy. But was it also an element of eureka moment for you where you suddenly realized that you did have to stand up?
I'm not sure if I would call it a eureka moment. It was, I think, a moment where I had no choice. I was not given a choice. I either stand up or I fall. And I had two younger brothers, and that became my priority. And, looking into the future, when you have Indian parents, they want you to go to the best universities and the best schools. So I just wanted to keep that dream alive and to make sure that I actually did achieve it. So my whole focus became about, what do I need to do? Where do I need to go? How do I get my brothers to where I need to get them? What do I need to do with the school? And I felt I had no choice. And the other choice would have been nothing. So that wasn't a choice for me at the time. And in a way, I'm really glad I had a few distractions that helped with my grieving, because honestly, I was in one of those states, but these distractions actually helped me push me forward.
Was there ever a moment during those darkest days of grief as well, and the shock of the whole thing, the fact that this happened, so tragically and quickly as well, was there ever a moment where you said, okay, look, this is too much for me to take on, just let me grieve, and then we'll make a decision later? Or, again, when that choice was taken away from you, was there that sort of fallback where you go, no, I must continue this legacy? They would have wanted that.
I think it was, I must continue this legacy, because people were talking about, people come around, family comes around, everyone's saying, okay, we should shut this down, do that. And I was like, no, this is my family's legacy and I'm going to take it forward. So in a way, I didn't give myself the choice. Keeping the family legacy ongoing was very important to me, because that's all I had of them.
Yeah.
I only had that of my parents. I didn't have anything else. They were gone. But I said, if I can keep them alive by continuing with their story and their journey, and I'll just take it on, I was holding on to that too.
You were still a child.
I was 17.
17 years old.
Yeah.
And you were thrown into this situation with the background of all-encompassing grief to make big decisions. Your government entities knock on your door, and you've got lenders and parents, etc. Talk to me about how the sort of infrastructure you put around you there, because a 17-year-old can't make big decisions for an organization like that. Was it the people around you that you surrounded yourself with that helped move the project forward?
Well, a lot of people, like when you look at government organizations at the time, a lot of people didn't take me seriously, because again, I was 17, 18 years old when I took over, and they were like, okay, she's a kid herself. They wanted to deal with a man. And it took me a little time where I said, well, this is who I am. This is what you're going to get. You either deal with me or no one at all. And my parents had good people around them, like a couple of really good trusted people that I took them to be my trusted people. And I said, I need support. Like, for example, the ex-principal of Device Scholars, who's now retired, she was with me for 37 years.
Yeah.
And she was a teacher, and she says, I want to keep teaching. I said, okay, let's make a deal. We both work together. You teach, I manage. But you can always teach, and then you help me manage. So we made these deals when I was 18. I was like, this way we can support each other. And thanks to the team around me, I could help it stabilize, because we lost a lot of children at the time. People lost faith in us because my mother wasn't around. But we sort of brought it back just through pure hard work, integrity, and I would say trust.
Could we make an argument that the age and your tender age also might have been one of the bonuses in terms of like a new way of looking towards the future of the business?
Yeah, because I looked at everything now, not as a challenge, but as an opportunity. I was like, okay, this is what we've got. How do we tackle it? When someone said, oh no, we can't do it, or we have to, I said, there is no in my dictionary. Until today, I tell my students, my teachers, I'm like, if anyone comes to me with a no, I'm not going to listen. It has to be, what can we do? So I just took every challenge that came our way as an opportunity. As like, how do we do it better? What do we do to change? Okay, it's a challenge. How do we maneuver around it? Because I need to get over the challenge. We can't get stuck.
But you've always been known, Aparna, for your positivity, for your optimism, for your joie de vivre as well, accepting, every day is carpe diem, every day is seize the day, etc. But was that the case at 17, or did your character change with the responsibility?
I think my character changed because I was very shy. I never was, I was very shy. I was an introvert. I wanted to, not deal. I had few friends, I was very, very, very close to my parents. But everything changed overnight. And overnight I became like this, I wouldn't say superstar, but I felt like I had to become like King Kong, where I had to say, I've got to do this. I don't have a choice.
I want to look to the future, and we're going to in just a few moments' time. I've got 30 seconds left with you. Okay, what does Aparna Verma today say to a 17-year-old version of herself all those years ago?
Have faith, and it will only get better.
What was the biggest challenge along the way for you, Aparna? I mean, especially when it comes to education, so many moving parts. Keep your teachers happy, the faculty, keep the students happy, keep the parents happy at all costs, the investors, those that are invested. What was the biggest challenge?
I think the biggest challenge at that time, was people lost trust in us. Like they didn't know what to expect. They didn't know whether they should believe in us. They saw me as the head. I wasn't a CEO then. I was just the head, the daughter. I was actually the daughter. And they were like, she's too young. What would she know? She's got no experience, which is all absolutely true. And it was just literally persevering every single day, showing up every single day so that at least the teachers would believe in me first. I was first one in school at 6:30 in the morning.
Set the example, yeah.
Set the example every single day. And I was still a student myself, right? I was only 17, 18. And at that time, I had to quit school to do this. I was going to university. I had to quit that. And I went back to university 5 years later after I stabilized everything. But I showed up every single day. And I listened a lot. I was a great listener. I still am a great listener. I listened to the challenges, I listened to the teachers, I listened to the parents, and I said, okay, one step at a time, let's move forward. And that's what I did. I just listened and I built trust. Trust where they could eventually believe in us, believe in me.
We constantly celebrate success, and that's what we are built to do at the moment. Do we put enough attention on the mistakes we made and the learnings we take from those mistakes?
I think it's not normal if you don't have a mistake.
Yeah.
You have to have a mistake, and the only way you can do it is by taking risks. Like even when I built Device Scholars, I built a school. I took all the money we had in the world, every penny that my parents had saved up for our education and everything, and I took a huge risk, and I said, I'm going to build a school. And my brothers were like, okay, we're in university. What if it fails? What if it doesn't work? And I'm like, well, then you're on the street. And they were like, okay, bit drastic. And I said, but that won't happen because I'm going to give it everything I have and I'm going to make it work no matter what. Again, I did not give myself the choice.
So, talk to me about this one as well, because a lot of people talk about the CEO mindset and like, I'm a CEO when I'm at work, but then I'm very different when I'm out at work, etc. You strike me, Aparna, as one of those people that, you know, where I am who I am.
I
you
am
know,
who I am.
You get what you get, etc. But
Always.
you know, that's come with challenges to you personally.
Yeah.
You've stood up not only to authorities when it comes to work, but you've stood up to the big C cancer as well. You've stared that in the face and you've challenged it as well. Again, has that formed you as an individual, as a personality moving forward?
Absolutely. And it's one of those things where, in a way, when I look back, and don't take this in any other way, but when I look back on my life, I'm glad I've actually been through those challenges because I wouldn't be who I am today without it. Unless you go through a challenge, you can never grow to be the person that you are. And today I am proud of who I am, what I've become, what I've achieved. But without the challenges, I don't think I'd be who I am. And again, it's how you take on the challenge, right? You can take on the challenge and say, I'm going to take it take the challenge and I take it as an opportunity and what can I do better? Or you say, oh my gosh, I can't handle this.
And that, from personal or professional, you can rest on your laurels, you know, especially when you look at what you've built. 4,000 students, multiple schools, a brand that's known the world over as well. And yet, here we are, not just resting on our laurels, you're looking to the future as well. What's the next chapter?
Well, I've got something exciting coming up, but I can't really talk about it now. But
The door is always open.
you will be the first one to know, Tom. That is for sure. You'll be the first one to know. I will make sure of that.
But you're happy where the group is at the moment?
Absolutely, because we are known as a group of integrity. We tend to focus with what we have, and we want to do it better. So when you even look at what's happening today with AI coming in, we are going all gung-ho on what do we do for the future. We're not living in the present right now, and we're literally thinking 5 to 10 years ahead. What do we need to do? What do we need to put in place? What are all the data points that we can collect? What is happening out there in the AI world that we can use as a tool, but not a means to an end?
I like that.
It's very, very important. We use it as a tool because a lot of places they're using it as a means to the end. I think no. I think there still has to be some humanity in this world, and I think the place to find it is in a school.
The personification of optimism there, always seeing the optimistic in the future and of course the present. Aparna Verma, I could talk for hours. Unfortunately, we're out of time on this occasion. Can't thank you enough. Next time, you are always welcome into our C-suite. Big thanks to you for being a guest on the C-suite. Brought to you by HSBC. That's Aparna Verma, CEO, Scholars International Group. This is the Business Breakfast.